They promote racist conspiracy theories, and they receive funding from the Pioneer Fund, which is a racist foundation devoted to eugenics and proving a connection between race and IQ. You trot these folks out, you cloak them with an air of respectability, and you give them a platform. That's not acceptable to us, to have these kinds of individuals spewing their rhetoric on this.
It's not acceptable to you. What gives you such special prerogative here?
It's not me. This is hate speech. It should be offensive, not just to us.
You're the one making the charge.
These types of individuals and the words that they use have consequences. We've seen that documented over the period of the last 3 years,
Here are the consequences,
according to the FBI and the Department of Justice, and that's on our website too. I want folks to be able to know that there is a wave of hate out there. It's being generated in many respects by the cable news networks, and we want to hold them accountable for the individuals that they're using on the airwaves, and we don't want commentators parroting their speech because it only manifests.
Well, I'm a lot of things, but I'm sure not a bigot, and I'm sure not a parrot. And I think what gives you the greatest trouble is I'm an independent, and I'm not going to put up with the nonsense, whether it originates with La Raza, whether it originates with FAIR. And
this isn't about you, Lou. I mean, I know, no, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's about holding your network accountable. It's about holding your network accountable for allowing
every day.
Well, we are going to make sure that that's the case.
Oh, you're not going to make certain at all.
We are meeting. I already have a meeting with CNN Worldwide President, Mr. Jim Walton, to talk to him about this. Well, we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to hold the other networks accountable.
And what are you going to do?
We're going to ask them to remove these kinds of representatives.
You want me?
Not you. I said these representatives who are tied to vigilante and hate groups as documented by the ADL or by the Southern Poverty Law Center. They have no place on the airwaves.
The Southern Poverty Law Center.
And we want to make sure that you're not parroting their speech.
May I respond? Now, for you to inject hate and bigotry into this debate on illegal immigration
I didn't
on
inject
your
it.
website.
I didn't inject it. I can document how it has been injected.
It's my turn. It's my turn. I've given you, I think, 7, 8 minutes. Let's start with the reality. I have never said a word against a legal immigrant into this country, nor would I ever. I have called for more legal immigration, not less. Now listen. I listen to you, okay? I want to, do we have that record on, okay, let's put up the, you said a 23% increase in hate crimes against Hispanics. Can we put up the full screen on this?
You know, the ADL documents code words for hate.
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
you've used a few of those code words for hate.
Name one code word.
Well, they talk about dehumanizing and demonizing immigrants.
That's their word. It's not my word.
Well, I'm telling you, they've had a clear record of documenting hate speech. Yes, they have. They're a very well-respected voice.
Not by me.
Anti-Defamation League.
They are a joke.
They are not a joke. They are a long-standing organization.
I want you to go to that website of yours and listen to that discussion on there. That woman is a joke, okay?
That's your opinion. We document this. She talks about the efforts to dehumanize and demonize Latinos. When you refer to them as bringing in massive disease, as we know you have, we can document that.
8 seconds on the air, referring one time on let me ask you something. Do you think that illegal aliens should be exempt from public health standards that are applied to every legal immigrant in this country? Is that what you're saying?
This is about code words for hate speech. That's right. We document that in the website.
You and your organization are completely out of your minds on this issue. If you think you have,
Lou, I stand by my record as leading an organization for 40 years as a civil rights and advocacy organization, represent 44 million Hispanics in this country.
Freedom of speech, suggesting that the only one who could oppose you would be
We have to draw the line on freedom of speech when freedom of speech becomes hate speech.
You wouldn't even be involved in this debate if these were not
acceptable.
Excuse me. You would not even be involved in this debate on illegal immigration unless the preponderance of those illegal aliens were Hispanic. And you know that is a fact. I would be involved in this debate no matter what.
I know that we can't stand for dehumanizing and demonizing and scapegoating a segment of our society.
Then why in the world have you not taken on the government of Mexico and Central America and those who create the conditions that drive illegal immigration?
We have been engaged in this issue.
You have not been engaged.
Yes, we have. And we are making every case right now to push back on the hate that dehumanizing.
When is the last time you even addressed a foreign government and The
I'm
quality
concerned
of that
about what's
leadership.
happening here in this country.
Oh,
and
are
this
you?
is about.
Why aren't you worrying about our borders being secured, our ports being secured?
We are
Why aren't you
for
worried about
comprehensive
building up
immigration reform, but this is about hate speech.
Comprehensive immigration
This is about
reform.
hate speech, and it has
Janet,
no
what
place
this
on
is
the air.
about is
You can try to divert this away from the hate and the representatives of vigilante groups, and you're standing with these vigilante groups. These are self-avowed vigilante groups. You're standing proudly by them. You can try to sort of dismiss that, but the reality is
No,
we
Janet,
can't
I
allow
am
for
dismissing.
hate speech to be part of this debate or to control the network
You
airwaves.
know that as you speak right now, I have never spoken a hateful word against illegal immigrants.
You've allowed these folks
Even-
to have a microphone.
Excuse me.
You've given hate a microphone by giving them time
Do we
on
have,
this show.
since...
And you've done it
Okay, would you
repeatedly.
please put
CNN
up-
has
would
done
you
it
put-
repeatedly.
Oh, come on.
And in the course
Crimes
of the
against
last 3
Hispanics.
years,
Let's
the
put that
3
up, hate
cable
crimes.
networks have allowed
Here-
these folks to
here's
have
what
the
you said.
airways 110 times.
You said on your website 23% increase in hate crimes. This is, according to the anti-Hispanic bias crimes in the
It's
Federal
according to the
Bureau...
FBI
Look,
and the Department of
please, look.
Justice. Yes.
In 2005, 522
It's
incidents against
increased by
Hispanics.
23% in the past
I'm just
3
showing
years.
you what the FBI is showing
and
us.
50% in California alone.
576 against Hispanics.
There's no
809.
coincidence between the
Okay.
extreme rhetoric that
All
the
right.
debate has taken and the rise in hate crimes. Words have consequences, and our community is feeling
me
the
show
brunt
you-
of that.
let me show you
Anytime
something.
you
Let me show
demonize
you-
a segment of our
No,
society.
you're trying to demonize me, and I'm going to show you the
This
reality.
isn't about you,
Could we
Lou.
put-
I know
yeah,
this is
you
your...
took me on, and
It's not
you're
about...
going-
It's
and now
about
you
your
got me.
networks.
Put
It's
this
about
up,
your
please.
networks
I want-
holding you
I want
and
you to show-
other networks
Oh, please.
accountable.
You can't hold yourself accountable. How could you hold
We
anyone
are
else?
here
Could you
with
please
the
put
facts. Look at the website, making a very documented
put
case
up-
on this.
Put up what I've said about illegal immigrants in this country, okay? If you would. We're waiting patiently.
You know,
Here, let's
my
let's
hate
go
mail
through
has
this.
gone from hate mail to
Okay,
death threats.
if you don't
Lou.
mind, by
know,
the
this
way,
is-
I get a few death threats too. So Janet, you're not the Lone Ranger. Here's would
Yeah.
you do me the service,
I don't have
the kindness?
a microphone every night.
Well, you're not going to have one very long here if you don't at least permit
ahead.
me to respond.
Go ahead.
I think I'm the only one on this panel, this is going back to May 15, 2006, who's actually worked with migrant workers in the fields with beans, potatoes, hay in my youth. I know them to be good and decent people. That was on Larry King.
Who said this?
I said that. In April, and by the way, I've said I respect illegal immigrants in this country dozens of times, but you don't seem to take note of that. Here's what I
Not
said
when
on
you
April.
when you parade these individuals who are tied to hate groups and vigilantes, and when you
It isn't working,
and when you
Janet.
embrace vigilante
Janet,
organizations,
we're going to finish this.
When you
And
embrace
then I said
vigilante
on
organizations,
April-
that speaks for itself.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, they're not a vigilante. They're a volunteer organization. And I think the
Lou,
president
they believe in arming themselves.
By the way, it's the Second Amendment. Do you believe in it?
I
They have a
believe
right
in the
to bear arms.
Constitution,
May
but
we
when they go
complete this?
after and hunt down undocumented immigrants, how do they know who's undocumented
I have great
and how do they
respect
know
for the
who's
people
here
who make up...
legally? You can't tell the difference.
Janet, just
They're-
please.